This question was set in 2018 by OCR. So let's read the question carefully. OCR town are holding an election with three candidates A, B, and C. An electronic voting booth will be used to allow people to vote. Okay. Now we need to write an algorithm that allows voters to enter either A, B, or C, keeps track of how many times each candidate has been voted for, how many times each candidate has been voted for. As soon as one person has finished voting, allows the next person to vote. So this voting system should be keep repeating. We need to allow the next person to vote. At any point, allows the official to type end. So when if somebody type A or B or C, fine, but if they press E and D, if they type E and D, then it will print out the number of votes for each candidate and the total number of votes overall. So that time the voting system gonna be off, and then we need to show this information: how many votes been for A and for B and C, and also how many times the total votes. We need to count that and show that information, right? So after reading this scenario, let's make a few notes what we need to involve in our algorithm, right? Right. First of all, as I can see, we need to allow voters to enter either A, B, or C. That means we need some kind of input. With that, we can take the information from the user. What else we need? We need to keep track of how many times each candidate has been voted for. So we need to count each candidate's votes. What else we need? As soon as one person has finished voting, allows the next person to vote. That means this input we need to keep track, and that means some kind of loop. Question is which loop? So let's read the next line. At any point allows the official to type in end. So that means we don't know how many times it's gonna run. We only know then if the official type end, the voting system gonna be end. So obviously it's a while loop because there's a condition there. And then we need to show the information for the total votes, and also vote for each candidate. This information we need to show, print this information, and also need to print for each candidate's vote. So that's a mental note. These we really need to start with, right? With that information, just copy this quickly in there. So keep this information just for my note, right? Okay. So as I can see, first of all, we need to count each candidate's vote. So before we go into the while loop, I just want to set up some kind of counting system. So set up counter for each candidate. Okay, means, so let's say votes for A initially is 0, votes for B initially is 0 too, and votes for C, that is also 0. So those are the initial counter setup to count how many votes for A and B and for C. Now, as we need to keep asking the input from the user about the voting, of course this input need to become inside the while loop, so you can keep asking it. So in the beginning we don't know that when how many times this boot gonna run. That's the reason we are using while loop, and we are simply using a infinite loop while true. Okay, so this is mistaken, while true, right? And then we are asking you taking in input from the user. Let's say the name of my variable is vote, and then I'm asking user to give me vote, right? So I say enter A, B, or C to vote, or E and D to finish. It's simple things we didn't write. Okay, so we are expecting user either say press A, B, or C, and if they do not want to keep continue with that, we just need to press and they need to type and. Right, now let's check what they're voting. So if the vote comes like from the user A, this should be double equals, of course, A, what gonna happens is with this I'm going to incrementing 1, right? So all I need to do votes A plus equals 1, which means votes A equals votes A plus 1 basically, right? Okay, good. Now elif, if the vote B, same way this is gonna be votes B, and we're incrementing the value with 1. Another one, another elif, because we are expecting C as well. So if vote elif vote C, votes for C is gonna be incrementing 1 as well, right? So these are for the voting options. Also, if it is E and D, all we need to do just break the cycle. So here we have created an infinite loop, but we also give an exit point. So if somebody press end, here type end, it will break the loop, right? We can give another line just in case somebody types something else, but this not necessarily for these questions, but let's add this anyways. So else, anything else, if somebody giving invalid data, we can say invalid vote try again, just simple one, right? Okay, so this is our initial setup is ready. We are taking the vote, and now we need to find out the, so a few things we need to output. First of all, here first of all we need to print out the total votes. So we need to count total votes, and also we need to find out votes for each candidate, right? So let's go back here. First calculate the total vote. So all you need to do, total votes equals votes A plus votes B plus votes C, right? And simply after that we just need to show those information the question asks us to show. Display the result basically, right? We need to print, just put it in a nice way, A go, and then obviously vote A. I'm just copy and pasting this line, easier for me to do for others. Control V. So this for the B, and we're gonna show what we got. This for the C, this for the C, and the last one we need to show, question asks us to show the total vote as well. So total votes, and then our variable name is total underscore votes, right? So before you press run, just quick look at did you done everything. So input is there, and it's also inside the while loop, so it's keep running. Also we are counting each candidate votes. To do that we have this initial setup, then based on users input we are just incrementing their value. Also, we are printing the total votes at the end. We counted total votes by adding all of the individual votes, and also we are showing votes for each candidate, right? So let's just quick run. So let's just give A. This time I give A again, B, C, A again, and I'm pressing E and D, and I can see what it's saying. A is not defined. Votes, yes. So make mistakes that it should be. Is it votes we write down? Yeah, it is votes. So votes, just some spelling mistakes. Here one more time. A, B, C, A again. Let's see again, and this time I just press end, and it shows us actually total was 5, and A got 2, B got 1, and C got 2. So the point is, we already check how can we get 6 out of it. Yes, we allow voters to keep voting for us. We keep tracking of each of the candidates. We also shows if somebody press and it is also the voting system is closed, and also we are showing the number of votes for each candidate and also number of votes overall, the total number, right? So that's it. We can get 6 months out of it. Very simple and elegant, and I would say very, very kind of easy one actually, comparing with other years, right? So guys, thank you so much. See you in the next one.